What is happening, my good people? Greetings. How are you? How's it going? How's everybody doing out there? What is the latest and greatest? Hope everybody's doing well, feeling fantastic and excellent spirits here on another hump day, April 22nd. Let's put up the graphic. Oh, let's even put up the scroll at the bottom for those that are here for the very first time. Wednesday live stream every Wednesday, high noon Eastern time, as this is your opportunity to get at me. Questions, comments. I got my usual suspects in the house. I'm sure I'll get to the comments that have been posted in a moment. And come one, come all. Tell your family, friends, foes, frenemies. This one is going to be good. I promise you. And I can say that for all the live streams, but this one is going to have a little bit of extra spice to it. To the point where if you watch the podcast on Monday, I was this close to breaking out the eye black. Eye black that you see, in particular, Major League Baseball players wear. You'll see NFL players wear it as well, just to block the glare from the sun and to really have my game face on. Well, anytime I talk sports, the game face is on, but you know there's going to be another level, maybe 2 or 3 added to that once the eye black is on. So today was close, but I'm going to save it for a day when I know it's really going to be on and popping. So anyway, April 22nd, today, you already know. Share your thoughts on screen. I'll post them, whatever that it is you're going to say in the chat room. Hellos, big hugs, thank yous. Obviously, anything sports related, please do not be shy. Feel free to just type on in whatever it is that's on your mind. You want to agree, disagree, debate. You got it. This is why I'm here. So come on, let's get it. And then obviously for those who are watching the replay, and I get it that this is well after the fact by the time you do listen to this after 2 p.m. today. But you know what? Still leave a comment anyway because I'll still get it. I'll be more than happy to respond. Whatever it is that's on your brain, whatever it is that's on your mind, spirit, it doesn't matter. I got you covered. So please, now let's get to the comments. I know we got a bunch of lows in the house. My usual suspects, people. My guy Fuqua. Juan Soto's coming back tonight. You know I'm going to touch on the Mets 12 in a row. Can they get a baker's dozen? Even with Soto coming back tonight? But believe it or not, I'm not on the ledge. So I'm going to forewarn you because I'm not going to get to the Mets until later on. I'm not on the ledge with this team. You know I'm fed up. You know I'm disgusted. You know I'm aggravated, the whole nine. And you know who my public enemy number one is. I get it. They're going to say, oh, Mendoza's got to go, the manager. We could debate that, please. Again, put the comments up. For any baseball fan, the Met fan in particular, if you've had it, oh, I want Mendoza out. I'll drive him out of New York City. I don't care as long as he's nowhere near Citi Field tonight. That's fine. But we'll debate that. We'll banter back and forth on that. But it's getting ugly by the second, and we'll touch on it. Trust me, I'm like bursting at the seams just wanting to talk about that. My guy J-Rod, what is happening? Bio, what is happening? Always a pleasure. Uh-oh, your trolls today, beware. And I got news for trolls today. Maybe not you, Mark, because, you know, I give you credit. But it is getting that bad. And I understand the Mets are a laughingstock. But it is getting that bad that where you have the Minnesota Twins trolling the Mets, that's where I got to draw the line. And I'm going to not pound on them. I'm going to eviscerate the Twins. And I hope everybody's watching from Minnesota. My guy Head Styles, a big Twin fan. I got something for you. They are 2-0. And that's a surprise that the Lakers, I understand no Kevin Durant. Durant yesterday, second half. Well, did anybody find him? I mean, he was invisible. And I get it. Give it up to Marcus Smart, who had a great game. and defended KD well, but geez, please. As everybody says, hi, of course, Val, Giants won. Yes, maybe you could spread some of that pixie dust on the blue and orange out in Flushing, Queens. That'd be nice. What else we got here? Yeah, Marcus ain't same. Yes, Val. Oh, we're going to touch on that. Doesn't look good for my Kings, although they played very well. And I understand that was a tough loss last night. That was one where if you're a King fan, that was the game that you wanted. And although they took care of home ice, which we would have thought going in to expect, as we all know, it's not a series until the road team wins, as we've seen that in the NBA, surprisingly, which I will talk about. And save the eye black for the Mets trade deadline. We're dumping all these jabronis. Hey, who knows? At this point, they may be dumping them by Memorial Day. And believe it or not, I'm still not at the ledge. As you can see, all my hair is out. Not from pulling it out, of course. But I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. How many games on defense did Hal Morris play? Here we go. All right. Well, we're going to skip that there because we already know the answers to that. Mark, come on. Seriously? Here, wait, where are my glasses? Maybe I need to give them to you. Go back to YouTube. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, and I'm not going to unpack that. My guy, Chin Dog, stopping by. What is up? Good to see you here, my man. I appreciate you stopping by. Talking a little SPRTS, because you know that's what I do. Bio out enjoying the weather. Pre-fishing for a tournament. Yes, that's right. How's the weather there? Is the weather nice? Because in New York, it's anything but. Let's see. We'll give you a quick weather report here. Remember last week? And again, this is why we got to live in the moment. I understand that. We got to live in the moment. But remember last week? At this time last week, it was about 86 degrees and sunny. And it was 80 all week. Right now, it is 50 degrees, but it feels like 42. Tomorrow's going to get to 71. All right, great. Friday, 64, cloudy. Saturday, 52 is going to rain. Garbage. Fuqua, Saturday. I'm on top of it. Then you got 60, 62, 63, 58, 51. So it's all, we got the tease of a lifetime where it felt like summer. And we've had moments. I get it. March 10th, I'm out in the field walking my dog, doing a live stream. Even on my birthday, what was it now? A little over 3 weeks ago, it was 80 degrees. The day after April Fool's, it was in the upper 70s. I mean, we've had a spring. But now all of a sudden, Mother Nature's saying, all right, we're going to put this on pause until we get to maybe Memorial Day. Or maybe they'll throw me a day here or there in May. And then next thing you know, the next time we'll see 80 degrees will probably be June 29th, which, please, I will not sign up for. And Mother Nature, please, could we just get it a little bit warmer? I'm not trying to say it has to be 75 every day from now until the end of September. But can we at least get in the 60s? 50, it feels like 41. I rest my case. Let's see where I'm at here. Where am I at with the comments? Yeah, Chin Dog, Bio. No team has lost 12 knows made the playoffs, but those must go. All right, so Bio, that's how you feel? Listen, he's going to be the guy. They're not going to fire Stearns as much as I want him out. And that would be a good debate. Who deserves to be out first, Stearns or Mendoza? Because I've said it a million times. It's Stearns. Think about this. Carlos Mendoza has no choice. It's a tie game last night, just like the game before in Wrigley. It's 1-0, bottom of the ninth. You're paying this guy $17 million a year, 51 over the next 3 years. So I think this guy's going to be on the Mets for 2 more years after this. Devin Williams. And nothing personal, Devin Williams. I got nothing personal. I promise you. It's business. And as a lifelong suffering fan here, going on 40 years without a championship, for you not to secure that game the other day is criminal. And then yesterday, coming in at a tie game, what else is Mendoza supposed to do? And I don't want to hear, oh, well, they should have brought in Austin Warren to start the ninth inning, considering he struck out the side after the damage that Devin Williams left, where he walked 3 guys, he gave up a hit, and couldn't get anybody out. He was actually Edwin Diaz, when we saw Edwin Diaz in Colorado when he came in for an inning and didn't get anybody out. So for that game, his ERA was infinity. Just like last night's game, Devin Williams, his ERA was infinity also, if that was the only game he came in. So, you know, yeah, we could kill Devin Williams all we want. We could say, oh, Carlos Mendoza, what are you doing putting him in? How about David Stern signing this guy? We could have had Diaz. And we couldn't forecast his elbow, and I understand Diaz is out until the All-Star break, but they didn't even need to go there. They could have re-signed Diaz. You could have had Timmy Trumpets, and that's it, or Tommy Trumpets, whatever his name is, and that would have been it. But no, let's go Devin Williams, and then let's get to Diaz's camp to say, hey, we just got him maybe to pitch the 8th inning. You could be in the 9th inning. That alone, he should have been gone. So we can blame Mendoza all we want. Mendoza's got to put him in there in a tie game when you're at home, not on the road, of course. One more time. Mendoza had no choice but to put him in the game. Can't fault him for that. And again, Austin Warren struck out the side. Oh, we could have brought him in. No, nobody knew who Austin Warren was before this past weekend. So now we're going to make Austin Warren out to be Mariano Rivera? Absolutely not. But let's face it. Stearns is public enemy number 1, 2, and 3. His ass needs to go. If anything, I'll go pick him up and I'll drive him to the ends of the earth and drop him off maybe somewhere in the West Coast by the Pacific Ocean. Say, hey, go for a swim. Stearns, get his ass out of here. I don't want to hear it. He's not going to go because it's April 21st and there's still 139 games left to go, which is almost, I can't even fathom that, because it might as well be August and not even think about the postseason at this point. And yes, I get it. And I can't believe I'm starting to talk about the Mets right now. I wanted to save this, but I can still save it. I don't care what. We can debate this all we want. And I understand you could say Mendoza. I get it. So on and so forth. What is he supposed to do? Seriously, what is he supposed to do? And if people let's say if he put Austin Warren to start the top of the ninth yesterday, and he does the Devin Williams impersonation, walk, what was it right after that? Oh, it was the bunt where Vientos threw over to third, and he was safe, so it was fielder's choice. Then it was the hit. Then it was another walk. I mean, come on. That's on Mendoza? The guy you might as well have me on the mound last night. I mean, seriously. So that's not on Stearns? Where he had his closer there, Diaz, and he just let him walk out the door? He let Devin Williams walk in the door before Diaz said, goodbye, I'm going to L.A. That right there is GM malpractice. What are we doing? Now I'm just, forget it. Now, bring John Franco in as Mets manager, problem solved. If he wants to manage, but even still, come on. I can't see that. And the pitching's been good. That's the thing. They just haven't hit. Lindor's a 3-run home run, and that was it. The bats, think about this. Only the Mets. Nolan McClain pitches 5 perfect innings to start the game. 5. Goes into 6th, 15 up, 15 down. Do you know that the Mets in their final 15 at-bats went hitless? That's Mendoza's fault? The roster. Look at the roster. Who did he bring in? Marcus Semien, who is well over the Mendoza line. I know Bio and I were talking about that the other day. But still, Semien, he's declined as a hitter immensely. And maybe I should start with the Mets. I don't know. Let's go Knicks. I'm going to get on their case, too, in a minute. So, that's why I'm ready, people. Maybe I should have put the eye black on because right now I'm already fired up and I'm ready to go and so on and so forth. Val, appointment today discussing my... All right, well, I hope both appointments go well, Val. You already know. Yes, Wemby, that is a huge story. We got to talk about that. Jay, the guy, yeah. Glad to hear you're good, Chin Dog. I appreciate that. Look at that, 72 here, sunny, no wind, crazy. That's how it was in New York last week, and you were telling me it was in the 40s. And I guess that weather's coming this way for tomorrow, so I guess that's probably we're going to get the 72-degree day. Well, I can't even speak right now. We're going to get the 72-degree day tomorrow, as I enunciate. I watched a show today, YouTube. Oh, thank you, Val. Appreciate that. Here we go, Fuko. What do you got? New York pollen is deadly. I'm ready to scratch my eyes out. Oh, God, you got big-time allergies? Yeah, it's rough. Thankfully, knock on wood, I don't have those allergies. Oh, I know my wife does. It's rough going for her. She has to pop in whatever it is. What's that? Not Claritin, not, I don't know, one of those deals. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with that. Bio. Sorry, Jerry was on this. No. Oh, man. Bio, I love it. Thank you, Bio. I love it. Now I'm going to go through the roof because this is a disaster. I mean, cheers. This might as well be vodka because it's not. It's water. The Steelers are running this operation as if this is the 1950s, as if Aaron Rodgers has been on the team for a decade and a half, where he won them 3 or 4 Super Bowls, where he is going to be going into the Hall of Fame, obviously with the yellow jacket, wearing a Steeler helmet. Not the case. They should have drawn the line, Aaron, when the season ended, that Monday night against Houston in the wildcard game. I understand you're going to take your time, whatever, but you know what? If we don't hear from you by March 1st, which was, think about it, 6 weeks after that loss in Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, whatever you want to call it, and that's it. End of story. Case closed. I'm sure they couldn't wait for Ben Roethlisberger to retire to get out the door, considering how he declined in his last couple of years. God love him, one of my favorite all-time NFL players. But what are we doing? I guess they're going to draft Ty Simpson, which if they do, I am just going to be – I might as well get my TV encased with hard plastic or fiberglass because I'm going to throw something at it. If they draft Ty Simpson, and nothing against the kid, again, business, never personal, I will be just – this is going to be Kenny Pickett 2.0. And I don't want to say that Ty Simpson is going to end up being Kenny Pickett. Watch him end up being Joe Montana. He's going to Hall of Fame for whomever team that drafts him. But I don't understand why are they just waiting. And I don't care if they had a handshake agreement on January, whatever that date was, let's say 20th, where no worry, I'm going to come back. I just need to get away, whatever. Nonsense. And maybe they do know it, but they're just not saying it. It has to be because the Steelers made no attempt to get any other quarterback since then, unless Ty Simpson is their guy. On top of Will Howard, everybody, Will Howard. Well, you know, people talk about Will Howard as if he's going to be the second coming of Roger Staubach. And I don't want to hear, what he won in college. And yeah, we understand that. But he was a 6th-round pick for a reason. And who knows? Maybe he could be a good quarterback. Maybe. I don't know. Obviously, we haven't seen him take an NFL snap. But the Steelers and this, I don't know what it is. Infatuation, admiration, respect, whatever. I mean, come on. And as we all know, the draft tomorrow night is in Pittsburgh. That is going to supersede anything that's going to take place in the draft because everyone's going to talk about, hey, everybody, we're in Pittsburgh, blah, 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 so on and so forth, the draft and whatever. And the hometown Steelers, you got to wonder what they're going to do at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that. That's why I haven't really talked about it. And I'm glad you brought it up. I really am. But that's why I haven't talked about this. Because how I look at it is, no, we don't want that. Get that out of here. Because how I look at it is, until he says he's returning or he's coming back, retiring, he's going to be the next Jeopardy host. Remember that during the pandemic? Then I can talk about it. But no, I'm not one of those with the regurgitated narratives. You know me, people. I'm not one, and that's my team. I am not one that's just going to every 5 minutes be on this Aaron Rodgers watch, even in the heyday of his career. Same for Brett Favre many years ago. Same for LeBron. What is he going to do? All these guys. I'm not doing it. Tell me where he's going, and we'll talk about it. Same with Mike Tomlin. Is he going to retire? I don't want to hear it. I do not. It's not a story until it is a story. Because that's what the other podcasts, that's what the other talk shows, the debate shows, all that, they could regurgitate it until they throw up. I'm not doing it. But when Brian brought it up, and I'm glad he did bring it up, because he is right. Why are the Steelers just like, they're just handcuffing themselves with this? And then I don't want to hear any excuses by Omar Khan. We waited for Aaron Rodgers. We wanted to draft a quarterback. We had our eyes on these guys. I don't want to hear it. I do not. Let me scroll up here. Maybe I should have worn the eye black today. Maybe I should have. 68 and cloudy today in SoCal. Is that the high? Oh, it's probably 68 now, but I'm sure it will be. I'm on the Great Lakes. Any guesses? Well, I'd say, are you close to Lake Michigan? I'll say Superior. How about that? I should have known that because we talked about that before, Bio. No, excuse me. J-Rod, my apologies. Yeah, my brain is right now. I'm sorry. Surprised you don't see smoke coming out of my ears at this point. Rainy Pacific Go. Oh, it did, huh? Oh, Val said Michigan. I'm sure the answer has been already said. This was 10 minutes ago. I'm trying to see if I guess I went Lake. Yes. Well, I'm sure he said Lake Michigan. I'm sure the answer. Your beloved Mets losing, not good. Snap. Yeah, they better snap it today. Juan Soto coming back. Should the Steelers draft Ty Simpson at 21? I'll say no. To me, the Steelers, if they're that in love with him, that's why I say it's Kenny Pickett all over again. Because after Mendoza, he's going to be the next quarterback drafted, so we think. And they have other needs. I saw them one of these mock drafts. Oh, they're going to pick the wide receiver from whatchamacallit? Casey Concepcion. I'm thinking to myself, the Steelers are known to draft wide receivers in later rounds. Now, I understand it's a different regime. This is Omar Khan now. So right now, all of a sudden, he's a riverboat gambler when it comes to making deals. But think about all of the draft picks over the years, other than Santonio Holmes, who was a first-round pick. Antonio Brown was a sixth-round pick. Emmanuel Sanders was a third-round pick. Hines Ward was a sixth-round pick. We can go through all these receivers that the Steelers have drafted over the years, and they have not been number one picks. Again, minus Antonio. And it may be another one or two that I'm thinking. And I'm talking about within the last 25, 30 years. And Hines was what? Was drafted in 98. So that's within the 30-year range. And I get it. Charles Johnson in 94. May he rest in peace. There have been some guys that they drafted in the first round as wide receiver. Troy Edwards. Oh, yeah. That was a bad one. But to me, what the Steelers need, they need another defensive lineman. I get it. They got Derek Harmon. To me, they need an edge defensive lineman in that 3-4. That defense is long in the tooth. We know the age on that defense. That's it. They can maybe draft a wide receiver in the second round. Have at it. How about it? End of story. And matter of fact, wait, do they have their second pick this year? They may have traded it. I got to think about that. I should know off the top of my head, but I'm not thinking Steelers draft at the moment. But should they draft him? I'd say no. They have other needs, especially on defense. You saw how bad that defense was last year? Buyer, you know. That Steelers defense was Swiss cheese. On a good day, it was Swiss cheese. On other days, it was a sieve. So, offense, I think they're fine. The offensive line is young. I know Broderick Jones, who knows, with his neck. But they have a young offensive line. They have DK Metcalf. They have Michael Pittman. They have Pat Fryermuth is a good tight end. They have running backs, as you know now. And I know they brought in Jamel Dean, too, another corner from Tampa. Or he was from Tampa. Yeah, he was. They need more defense. They could get receivers second, third round. So he's not lying. It's 70 where I'm at. New York still March. Yeah, New York is it's gone back to its usual spring self in the 50s. Will Blake Snell pitch for the Dodgers in the Giants series or not? No, I don't think so. Tonight, don't they have Shohei is pitching tonight, and who's pitching on Thursday? I'd have to look that up. Blake Snell, you know what's going to happen with Blake Snell? He's going to come back after the All-Star break. He's going to pitch about 5 or 6 starts. He'll get hurt again. He'll have 2 tune-up starts going into the postseason, and then he'll have a killer playoff and God knows World Series. And that's it. End of story. Plus, New York, start being happy and win today. Yes, please. I hope so, Val. Yeah. Wasn't Blake Snell in the Giants 2-1 season? Yes, he was. Jay Reels are winning today because Soto will be there. Yes, I'll talk about that. Bio saying put the eye black on. I may. Who knows? But when we get to the next hour, it may just be that. Let's see. I don't have allergies. Good for you there, Val. What else you got? All right, 12:25. So at 12:30, I'm going to get to go through my topics. Because I know at 2 o'clock, I got to sign off. I have the super coming. You got to fix something in our bathroom. Yeah, that's me. That's listen, I'd rather have that than the guy who's part of the files. Is, I don't want to mention his name. Well, how about the next Met GM? His last name. Trevor Lewis announced retirement file. Oh, is that right? Oh, I didn't see that. Way to go, Val. Good job. What's this remark? Conan O'Brien was the only one to figure out. Oh, Starbuck, another Cincinnati connection. Oh. Yes, Roger the Dodger. Red for life. Brandon was time with the Reds. Yeah, Brandon Phillips, former second baseman. Lake Erie, Lake Champaign. I know we're still waiting on that answer, right? Good vibes in the room. I love it. Saginaw Bay was connected to which Great Lake? I'm going to say, Erie is east. Huron, I think, is north of that. I'm going to say Superior. Oh, like Gene Simmons and Kiss? I should do that. Probably scare people away. I'm sure, look, my Aaron Hernandez / that scares people away. But, hey, these are the looks the good Lord gave me, and my mom too. So, Lake Erie, guessing at this point. Antonio Brown, I know that band. Is that a band? Oh, no. I know you tried to get into rapping, which please spare us there. Oh, Lake Huron, look at that. So I would have stuck with that. I thought Huron was north and east of you. Heard that Steve Kerr retire. Is that true? I can see that. I can see that, Val. Yeah, he'll retire, but then somebody will dangle the big carrot. Who knows? If the Knicks get ousted in his first round, he could be coming to New York. Although I don't think that's going to happen. I saw a weird interview with Omar Khan. They asked him what team is the Steelers' biggest rival, and he said he didn't know. Oh, my God. Did he really say that? Omar Khan. And then people get on my case. It's like, oh, why is he supposed to know that, Jay Reels? Come on. He lives in Pittsburgh. I'm sure he has a pulse of the fans. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's out of touch. Even though, in my eyes, the Raven rivalry is more intense, and to me, it's taken over the Cleveland rivalry because Steelers usually beat up on the Browns. But listen, I'm not stupid to know that the Steelers' biggest rivalry because of proximity is Cleveland. Because every time Cleveland plays Pittsburgh, they want to destroy us. And every time we lose in Cleveland, which we did so last year, and the year before that's their Super Bowl. So, yeah, the Browns are the biggest rival. For him to answer it that way, I mean, come on. I mean, what are we doing? And I don't care what people say. Oh, Jay Reels, come on, give him a break. No breaks. You're in the business, I understand, of trying to procure players, get the best players on your team so you could try to compete, contend, and hopefully get to the Holy Grail and win a Super Bowl. But if you live in a town, which is a football town, it's not a baseball town. The Pirates don't rule that town. The Penguins, how about to be a Penguin fan today? That is a tried and true football town. If he doesn't know that the Browns are the biggest rival, then they should fire him too. Get his ass out. Seriously. Because David Stearns, who grew up within a stone's throw from Shea Stadium, grew up a Met fan, and he's clueless. So you know what? Get all the clueless GMs out of my life. I don't want them. Enter in a one Theo Nathaniel Epstein. I can't say loud enough. The eye black challenge. I'm going to get it. 1 o'clock hour. When I get to the Mets. Who knows? Maybe when I get to the Celtics. Julie Cott, 6'7", 6'7". All right. Throw that in there. Bronco was close to Dexter. Hey, Robert, what's up, man? Oh, shout out Julie. Hey, Julie. Thanks for stopping by. Too much draft picks. And Denver's defense is good. Why would they want him? You would think that Broncos are bereft of defensive players. Yeah, that would have been a shock. Oh, yeah. Well, in my eyes, it's the Ravens. But only because Cleveland is 2 hours from Pittsburgh. And, you go back to the 70s when obviously the Steelers were good. And the Browns weren't bad. The Browns were actually pretty good. In 80, they went to the AFC Championship game. Sam Retigliano, Brian Sipe, Ozzie Newsome. I mean, shall I continue? But there was, over the years, obviously, it's been one-sided. But the Browns are there. They're not their biggest rival, but they are rivals going way back. Superior's above the upper peninsula of Huron. Ah, okay. Yeah, I figure Lake Erie is closer to that part of Erie, Pennsylvania, and New York, no? That'd be my guess. No, and even Buffalo, for that matter. Jay Reels, who might be the next head coach of the Warriors if Steve Kerr retires? Who are their assistants? Yeah, isn't Jerry Stackhouse an assistant there? I know I talked about him in North Carolina, which obviously that's not happening. Do they even think about maybe promoting Stackhouse? Why not? But I've had a guess. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, what recycled coaches out there? I would hire from within. These recycled coaches, I mean, why even bother? The Knicks are learning that right now in that atrocious fourth quarter that Mike Brown had. Oh, I guess you could be a Knicks fan, but then I'm a Met fan, so it doesn't, Well, time to get back and everyone today. Hey, Jay, good luck on the lake there. I appreciate you stopping by as always. Thank you. So John Franco isn't in the discussion. I don't think he wants to be a manager, Mark. I mean, why would he even want to overtake this or undertake this godforsaken franchise? Steve Crawford Jordan, his highlight. Yeah, he didn't back down to him. He did not. But he came through in the clutch. He hit that shot in 97 to win a title. All right. Let's get to it, shall we? Let's start here. To me, the big story of the night, and I understand the Lakers are that too, but this right here. Check the receipts, my good people. When I talked about who was going to be the most important player in the NBA this year, not the most improved, not the most valuable, the most important. That name you see at the bottom of the screen right here, he's the guy. Because for all of his talent, for everything that he has done in his short career, granted that he's had his moments out of the lineup last year with the situation with the blood clot. And Wemby, who's going to be up for the MVP, he, SGA, and Nikola Jokic. He already won unanimously the Defensive Player of the Year. Yesterday they announced that. And that was a rough fall. Second quarter, Drew Holiday backed out and landed face first. And it was not pretty. And what wasn't prettier was him trying to get up where he was wobbling. Now, concussion protocol, that means for 48 hours, he's going to be evaluated. And I would think Friday night he's not playing. So, who knows on Sunday? Because how I look at it is, and of course I'm not a doctor, but with what has transpired in the NFL over the years, and even with the NBA, NHL, they're not playing around with concussions. And then the worst part about it, think about this. Who knows if he even plays Sunday? Because I would think not only would he have to be cleared, and I don't know what that threshold is. I mean, of course he has to be, if not 100%, but very close to. Can he fly? Because who knows at 35,000 feet from San Antonio to Portland, it's not a 1 hour flight. It's not as if he's going to Phoenix, which maybe about an hour and a half, I guess. Yeah, how's that going to affect him even if he is cleared to play? Because who knows with the altitude. Now, that is a huge blow. And the game last night, which was even crazier, that the Spurs had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, and they couldn't close out that game. I understand Scoot Henderson had a big game, scored 31 points, and you didn't even get it from guys like Drew Holiday or I know I'm going to butcher his name, Danny Avdija. No, Avdija. I know I always think of AVID, but it's AVDIJA. So, and he didn't have the big game that he had prior to that, more so in the playing game against Phoenix. But that was a bad loss because you figure 14 up. It wasn't they had a 14-point lead in the first half, and then they blew it, and then Portland went past them. Portland had a big fourth quarter. And now that's a live series. And with Wembenyama, I wouldn't think definitely not coming back for game 3 and maybe not game 4. It's quite possible that the Suns, that the Trailblazers could go up 3-1. Now, we shall see. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but this is why we watch sports. But they're in big-time trouble, if you ask me. And to me, you know what this has? It reminds me, now it's a 2-7 matchup, but this reminds me a bit of that Heat and Bucks series of 2023, the 1-8, when Giannis missed 2.5 games. And that's where the Heat were able to propel themselves past the first round. They went to an NBA Finals, you know. And to me, this is the same scenario that's baked in here. So that's number one. Number two is this one. I mean, LeBron's going to be LeBron. But Marcus Smart, turning back the clock a little bit from his days in Boston, especially that finals run in 2022. And then Luke Kennard, a guy who's led the league in three-point shooting with Smart's defense on Kevin Durant. And now the Lakers are up 2-0. I didn't see that coming. And I don't think anybody else did. And even with Kevin Durant out in game 1, and then yesterday coming back from that right knee contusion, scored 22 points in the first half. In the second half, the guy was invisible. He was nowhere to be found. And I don't want to hear, my knee or this. And listen, you got to give credit to Marcus Smart for playing excellent defense on him. And we know Smart is a former Defensive Player of the Year. The one guard, think about it. When he won Defensive Player of the Year, that was the year that they went to the finals. And how the last guard prior to him was Gary Payton, mid-90s. So it was 30 years before another guard won that award. And here it is to where Kevin Durant, who still has 6 inches on him at least, and he couldn't get anything off in the second half. And this is why Durant, I'm sorry. Today not maybe the day, but this is the mood I'm in. Kevin Durant is a guy that his legacy is going to be tarnished because that was a game that you needed. I get it. Lakers took care of home court. If you serve on your home court there this coming weekend, fine. You go back to LA, hopefully 2-2. But I'm putting that on him. You know why? Because the Rockets do not have Alperen Sengun, very good player. I like him. Where else are you going to get offense? This team has no offensive identity. And their defense is atrocious as it is to begin with. And this is Ime Udoka, who is bread and butter is defense. And right, people say, you put too much pressure on Durant. Oh, well, come on, he can't do it all, so on and so forth. That's why he was brought there. I don't care how old he is. I don't care if he's already – the guy still averaged, 26 points a game this year? And he got 22 in the first half, and he got 3 in the second half. So I'm putting the blame on him. Because if he scored 35 and lost, you'd be like, all right, you can blame it on the defense. But come on. And, yeah, we know he's an all-time great. He's going into the Hall of Fame on roller skates. No ifs, ands, buts, babies about it. People want to say he's top 10 all-time. He is not. You want to argue that? Let's go. He is not top 10 all-time. I don't care what people say. I don't care if he is second all-time in scoring and surpasses Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't care. He is not. So let's see what they do in games 3 and 4, which I expect Houston to play better. And I'll be honest, I think this series is going to go back to LA tied at 2. I just feel that. And who knows? Is Luka coming back? I don't know about Austin Reeves, but Luka is the big question mark. Because maybe right now the Lakers are thinking, okay, we don't have to rush him back because we're up 2-love. Maybe if we lose game 3, we can bring him back for game 4. Or maybe they'll say, you know what, we have enough of a safety net that if this does become a best of 3 next week in LA, he can come back for game 5. But yeah, I'm just down on Durant. I'm sorry. And I'll get your comments after I talk NBA. Here's the third thing. Now, of course I was upset they lost, but to me, we know what the Celtic recipe is. It's live and die by the three. And last night you saw that. 13 for 50 from three, and the Sixers were 19 to 39. And VJ Edgecombe at 30 and 10, the first rookie since Tim Duncan to have a playoff game of 30 points, 10 rebounds. And Tyrese Maxey was great. And VJ Edgecombe, listen, and I get it. They cut it to 91-89, but here's the Celtics. Instead of being a little bit methodical, and I understand that's not their makeup and that's not the way their offense is designed, but you would think you're down by 2. If the shot is there, take it. But no, let's try to attack the paint. There's no Joel Embiid. There's nobody there. You saw Jaylen Brown dunk on, what's the guy's name? Adam Bona? And he got a technical for it. Get to the paint. I understand it's 2026, the analytics, the three-point shooting. Please. I know. Not to say it was a bad loss. Listen, and they shot better. That's all there is to it. But now that's a series. Now, as a Celtic fan, I think they're going to get one of the next 2. I'm not going to get myself wrapped up. And now they may have to win in 6. Because I don't think they're going to win the next. I don't think they're going to sweep in Philly. I think they could. But that fan base, they hate the Celtics more than any team. Maybe the Knicks is close, but Boston, Philly goes way back. So I can see them getting one of these games. And again, talk about a guy who's been out, big question mark, Joel Embiid. Oh, what's his deal? I couldn't tell you. So we'll have to wait and see on that. And that's what you have there. And then to kind of wrap this up, Nick Flop, oh my God. I actually thought, watching that the other night, I said to myself, could the Hawks actually win this series? And even as much as I would love to see that, I still don't. They'll get another game. I think they'll split in Atlanta and then watch the Knicks win in 6. Could it go 7? Let me get that second win. If Atlanta wins game 3, it's going 7 games. I can see the Knicks sweep in the next 3, but I think Atlanta, I could see them go into a 7th game if they win tomorrow night. Because then that means the Knicks will have to win 3 of the next 4, which that I can see happening. But Mike Brown, oh my goodness. Not putting in Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson for big stretches of that fourth quarter. Calling his last time out with 2:48 to go. Taking shots. They had a, 12-point lead, fourth quarter. And here they are chucking threes with 12 seconds left on a shot clock. CJ McCollum, who just abused Jalen Brunson. And I'm surprised more teams don't do that. How many times have I talked about it here, even last year, when for some reason there's a switch and Brunson's on Jason Tatum? What are we doing passing the ball? This is why I don't understand with the stupid analytics. It's like, nope, let's find the open guy for a 3. CJ McCollum said, oh, Jalen Brunson's going to guard me? Watch this, guys. We're going to see a clinic here. And that's what you saw. And Jalen Brunson, listen, nobody's talking to him offensively. I understand he shot terribly the other night. Was he 10 for 26? But come on. More teams should be cluing in to get the ball to their best scorer and have Brunson somehow, some way. That's it. End of story. And I get they'll switch off. They'll put Anunoby. They'll put Mikal Bridges, etc. eventually. But there are going to be times where they're going to have Brunson out on an island. And then that's when you got to take advantage. Not try to find the open man for a 3. Oh, come on. Like, what are we doing? But Mike Brown scares you. And I got news for you. If they're going to get out of this series alive, I would be shocked if they don't. But Mike Brown, you talk about whether it's game 5, 6, or 7. Doesn't matter. If he doesn't survive this series, he's another one. His bags are going to be packed while he's doing the interview, his final interview as a Knicks coach there if they lose in any one of these deciding games in this series. And then to wrap this up, as you see here in the graphic, T-Wolves respond. Cavs go up 2-0. Tonight you have OKC. They've only played the one game, and then Orlando, Detroit. But the T-Wolves, great effort there on Monday night to tie the series. Anthony Edwards, who and Dante DiVincenzo had a big game, and Edwards made some big shots down the stretch, and Julius Randle played well. I know he and Jokic got at it when Jokic tried to get the ball away, etc. But that could be a 6-game series. And that's the one thing when you look at this first round, NBA first round is usually from hunger. A lot of these series end in 4 or 5. You may get a couple of game 6s. All you got to do is look back to last year. You had one game 7, and that was Nuggets Clippers. Knicks won 6 games against the Pistons, as you remember. Thankfully, J-Rod isn't here. Celtics beat the Magic. Quick work. Indiana beat the Bucks in 6. And then in the West, you had OKC disposed of, who did they beat in that first round? I beat them in 4 or 5, as you know. Who did the Clippers? Oh, they played Dallas. Was that 6 games? No, that wasn't Dallas. But a lot of those series did not go 7 games. Here you may have 2 series. And for the NBA, they'll do somersaults for 7 games. But we'll see. Obviously, there's a lot of basketball to be played. I think Detroit, like I said the other day, I think they're going to run Orlando out of the gym tonight. And I think the same for OKC. And obviously, you have the series that will continue starting tomorrow. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah. Mark Salmons. You gotta, unless you probably made a comment about that. If I made a comment about money and I forgot what that was, my apologies. Let's see. Where is, okay, here we go. Bio, Dalton Rushing. I know. I mean, the guy's OPS is 16. And he's batting what, 420 something? I saw that, and he had 2 home runs against the Mets last week. That's no surprise. What is he batting? I thought it was sworn maybe before the game last night. He is, let's see. Where is it? Yeah, Dalton Rushing. Come on, can we get to this tab? Thank you. Dodgers. He's batting what, 4 something? Some ridiculous number. Now, I understand he's not eligible for the batting title. 414 he's batting. Because he's only played in 9 games. And Andy Paez is batting 366. This is a guy that couldn't get a hit to save his life in the entire postseason last year. Which could be a thing. Can he hit good pitching? Maybe he's beating up on bad pitching here. Hence the 366 average. But keep that in mind, especially when you get to October. But yeah, he's been phenomenal. Excuse me. And based on what I've heard, too, is that Ohtani, in those games that he's going to pitch and not hit, that's when Rushing will be your DH. Or he could start. I think he caught him the last time in the Met game last week. So Jung-Hoo Lee got injured yesterday. He's Korean player, I think. Yes, he did. How did he get hurt? I'm wondering. I didn't see that. Mike Vrabel that exposed to Sports Insiders is Cannulli required to be an insider? They reject that. I'm give you a sweet. All right, Fuka going in. I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, I mean, Rossini, they both don't look good. And obviously with Vrabel coming out to the press yesterday saying that I got to make better decisions, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, the Patriot way, he's not going to expound anything more than what he said yesterday. But, yeah, he admitted to that. And, yeah, he pretty much told you that he did an awful job and has to do better. And, listen, Diana Rossini may not be everybody's cup of tea. Maybe some people's cup of tea. I don't know. But he seemed as if that was Mike Vrabel's cup of tea, despite the fact that he's married and that she's married. But thankfully, that's not me. It's not my issue to deal with. So, yeah, Zip. Mike Brown. Ugh. Who needs a new coach, NBA? Yeah, who's got fired? I know. I'm not even on the NBA. Well, Billy Donovan obviously stepped down, so the Bulls need a coach. Who knows who that'll be? Andy Reid kind of hinted Justin Fields my player of the season. Yeah, I could. Listen, who knows with Mahomes' ACL? He says he wants to be there for week 1 and not as a gadget guy or a decoy. No, I can see that. That's the thing. Justin Fields, he's not accurate. He has a very strong arm. Runs as good as any quarterback, even Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Lamar Jackson or no, but he's that type of guy. He's a threat. But he can't read a defense to save his life. That's the problem. So, all right, let me move on to the NHL. And then maybe I'll put the eye black on, which is not here. It's in the room. But I'll go through this real quick here, people, because NHL, there's your breakdown. 4 series tied at 1. Oh, there she is. I'll start with those series first. Boston gets the equalizer. I know they're kicking themselves. They could be up 2-0 in this series, considering that they gave up those 4 goals in a 6-minute span late in the third period on Sunday night. But great job by them to bounce back. Victor Arvidsson with 2 goals. David Pasternak. And they were up 4-0, even though the Sabres scored 2 goals. And I'm sure people in Beantown were in a little bit of a panic mode to think, like, oh, no, we can't blow this lead, can we? But they were able to win 4-2. So that's a series there. I know Buffalo has a better talent, but one thing the Bruins have, they have grit. And last night you saw that. And again, I'm sure they're still kicking themselves knowing that, wow, we could have been out of here 2-0 going home. So that's series number 1. Series number 2, I know I'm going to be all over the map. I'm not going east, first, west, whatever. Series number 2 is Montreal-Tampa, both games in overtime, where we talked about on Monday with Montreal winning. And then last night, after Nikita Kucherov gets the equalizer with about 3.5 minutes to go, and then in the overtime, J.J. Mosier gets the goal to where the Canadiens, listen, they got their split, and I wasn't on top of this game. Of course, I was Celtics, and of course with the Mets too. So the hockey, I tried to dial in, but it was hard. What can I tell you? Tonight will be a little bit different. Of course, I'll be locked in on the Mets, but you know, I'll look into the NBA and maybe I'll concentrate a little bit more on the hockey tonight too. But yeah, that's a series where goes back to Montreal tied at 1. Then you have Dallas come back to beat Minnesota, tie that series, which I said, even after them losing 6-1, we've seen Dallas go down this road before, losing game 1 badly, losing the first 2 games in their building before coming back to win the series. So they tied that series, and as the series will shift to Minnesota. And then the other series of note is Utah getting their first ever playoff win, beating the Vegas Golden Knights. And that was, let me see, I think they got up to a 2-0 lead, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh, no, they were up 1-0. Mark Stone had another goal, and then they scored the next 2 before, where's NHL? Before the Mammoth were able to get the goal there. I don't think it was late. Let me just make sure. Hold on. Yeah, they got the goal. No, it was just 6 minutes ago in the third period. So Utah, and I'm sure that's going to be a very inspired crowd come game 3. Now, I don't know the Utah hockey fan. Remember, there's only their second year of existence there, but their first ever home playoff game, and I'm sure it's going to be rabid. I'm sure it's going to be raucous. So let's see how the Golden Knights will respond now that that series is tied at 1. And then you have the Flyers. They've been a hot team down the stretch. Penguins, who rested their players as they had that 2 seed wrapped up. Now they got to go to Philadelphia to see whether or not that they could take back the home ice, and they're going to have to win the next 2 games because they're already down 0-2 with the next 2 in Philly. And even if the Flyers get a split. Now, I'm sure you'd rather have a sweep, but I don't think I'd be surprised. Although we have seen Penguin teams in the past get swept. The one that comes to mind was in 2013 when the Bruins swept them in the conference final. And they swept them badly. As they try to get physical with Boston, Boston just laughed at them. So I don't think they'll get swept, though, but if they get a split, and Philly's already won 2 games there, I can see this being a 5-game series. But let's see how much pride they have left as they do what they can to hang on to their season. Then you have Colorado up 2-love. I know we talked about that briefly earlier. And give it up. Kings have played well. Last night, tough game there as they lose in overtime. And I went to bed at that point. Please, I was aggravated, frustrated. It's like I just I couldn't watch. Celtic game was, like I said, was bad, but watching the Mets was worse, and then that just soured my whole night. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even talk about – I got to go back to the NBA real quick, but before I do that. But now they'll go to L.A. Let's see if L.A. can at least get game 3, and then you take your chance from there. Listen, I picked the Avalanche at 5, and right now it's starting to look that way, so we'll see. And then Edmonton up 1-0 in their series where they were up 2-0 in the first period. Anaheim scored 3 goals in the second, and then they scored the 2 goals there in the third to get the 4-3 Game 1 victory. They'll play Game 2 tonight as they catch up with the rest of the series here in the NHL's first round. And that is it when it comes to the NHL. Now, here's the other thing. Cavs go up 2-0 in their series. I know James Harden had 28 the other night. I'm sorry. It's the Raptors. I know they had a good year. I know they have good players, etc. But let me see when we get to the next round. And dare I say, if they get to a conference final. Once they get to the deep end of the pool, that's when I'll really judge and grade Harden, Donovan Mitchell, their head coach Kenny Atkinson, etc. So to go back to the NBA, that's what you have there. Let me see comments before I get to my next thing. All right, I think Lee is okay after the injury yesterday. I think he slid or something. All right, yeah, I didn't see it. Yes, you did, Val. Excellent. What's my shirt? Yep, that's that. Here we go with Al Morris again. He actually didn't. Mark, I'll bet you $1,000. I know I don't have a super chat. Google wrong. All right. As I stated, watch the entire game. I know, and I saw it, and I played it here. I guess you must have turned away at that point 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Val, Will Smith Sharks player was playing pickleball. Oh, they were at the. Oh, really? They were at the Boston Marathon? I didn't know that. Oh, good for them. I had no clue. Interesting. Okay, stay. True or Sue? Oh, please. You're going to make me do this again? No, I'm not going to do it. Make you stay or sue? Now, why are you going to sue? Why would you do that? I mean, it's a thing where I'm right, you're wrong. I played it here on the channel or on the live stream, showed the whole spiel. I mean, please, it goes without saying. So, I tell you. All right, let me get to the next thing. Give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second, people, as I just I just gotta look for one thing here. All right. Oh, the eye black's over there. That means I gotta go in the room. I gotta get the eye black. Do I do that? Oh, yay. You know what? I'm gonna hold off. I'll wait till when you see the eye black when the You'll know when the day comes. As a matter of fact, I had to take some pictures with the eye black just to make sure that I hold on one second. Ready for this? Hold on. I'm going to get to that, Val. Do they really? Oh, my God. Oh, I hope they do that because then with all these trolls that have been getting on my case, and I don't even bother the Yankee fan, but they get on my case. Which I'm going to get to in a minute because I'm going to talk about the Mets next. Yeah, I just had to bring this up. Hold on one second, guys. Mark, you still there? What is this? How more snap play defense anyone says I wouldn't, but you're wrong. Okay. I know Twins trolled the Mets. Ay, ay, ay. All right, stand by, guys. All right. Can we do this one last time? Hold on. Ready? Once and for all, people, my apologies. I promise I won't spend a lot of time on this, but this is only because. Let's take. Hey, Mark. All right. Hal Morris did not play defense in 1990 World Series. I wouldn't, but you're wrong. Okay. What do you see here, Mark? This is. Oh, wait, let me take your comment out. That would help. Hold on. Stand by. No, we don't want that either. Get this out of here. Yeah, let's even get my face out of there. Because I want to see. What does this say right here? Oakland Athletics at Cincinnati Reds, 1990 World Series Game 1. Mark, are you there? Mark, did you go to the bathroom? Mark, did you turn your head? Mark, did you jump out of the room? Mark, are you there? Let me see, Mark. Where are your comments? Great picture. He didn't play defense. Okay? If he didn't play defense, then why is he introduced? Mark. Why is he introduced here? Hal Morris, first base. Hal Morris, first base. What do you think? They just did this and then he went off the field? Mark, wake up, please. Stop. Mark, do you remember a movie in the 90s? And this will shut you up. Remember the movie in the 90s, Alicia Silverstone, Stacey Dash? That's what you are, my G. Clueless. Yeah, are you clueless? That's what we got to talk about. He's clueless. He doesn't know. Please, I got to bet on my life on that. And $1 million and whatever else you want to call. But he riled me up, but that's it. I'll stop sharing. We're not going down that road. Now let's get to this. Now you guys got a blue screen. Stand by. There we go. All right. As it's after 1. What's Fuqua saying? Yeah. There you go, Fuqua. Get him. Yeah, he definitely does. Influencers. I like that. Oh, my God. All right. Let's get right to it. Now, I'm going to try to go on a different route here other than what I said earlier, which was all valid. Yeah, I'm not going to go David Stearns. You already know how I feel about that. I'm not going to go Carlos Mendoza. You know how I feel about that. This is where I'm going to, which I can't even believe I'm going to say. They're 7-16. 9 games on the 500. 2 years ago, I get it. Pete Alonso was there. Jeff McNeil was there. Brandon Nimmo was there. Starling Marte was there. Jose Quintana. I understood. 1,000%. They were 11 games on the 500 in late May. It is easy. You're talking to a Met fan here. It is easy for me to say the season's over. Why even bother playing? We know all the stats. They're the 139 team, I think it is, that have had a 12-game losing streak or more that has not made the playoffs. I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, well, we're going to be the first team that's going to. Nope, not doing that. But it is April 21st. If you're going to have a 12-game losing streak at any point of your season, you might as well do it now. That's it. That's that. That's all. So we could talk about how inept this offense is. We could talk about the organization, everything. All right. And before I get to the trolls, because I'm going to bring up some stats and things of that nature you're going to see for those who have not seen any of the stuff that's gone on. So I get this out of here. I may not have a lot of optimism left. In fact, my tank is probably like right here now. Because before you know it, it's the 21st. It's going to be May, a week from Friday. And when we turn the calendar, who knows what the Mets are going to do here? Now, the Mets, think about this. Kind of hate to put it back to me here, but this just goes to show you. On the morning of April 7th, 2 weeks ago yesterday, I went to the dentist because I had to get this front tooth here fixed. So they took out the old one, they put a temporary, and they put the new one in yesterday. The Mets haven't won since. I mean, seriously? But anyway, we can put that aside. Juan Soto comes back tonight. Now, I don't know if he's going to try to do too much. I don't know if he feels there's going to be all the pressure on the world, or pressure of the world on him, on his shoulders, to be the savior, which to me, Met fans, pipe down. Don't think that Soto's going to come in here and he's going to go 3 for 3 with a home run and 4 RBIs tonight. If he does, you can only hope they win. So I'm not expecting him to all of a sudden come in and now the Lions are going to score 5 runs a game. All right? So let's pump the brakes there. It's going to be a welcome addition. It's going to be a welcome sight. It's going to be maybe, if we look at it, all right, the season starts now. I understand you can't throw the previous 23 games in the garbage, but one more time. It is April 21st. But now, here's why I'm even more bothered. And it gets my blood boiling. And I understand people could talk about how J-Reels, don't let the trolls, don't let all these people get to you, blah, blah, blah. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of this. Let me pull this up here. Where is it? I thought I had this here for the Twins. It's people that come out and say, oh, the Mets are 0-12 since the mayor hugged Mr. and Mrs. Met. I mean, seriously, what is he now, the anti-Grimace? Remember Grimace from 2 years ago? He threw out the first pitch and the Mets couldn't lose. And now all of a sudden they can't win because the mayor came out? I mean, stop. Then you have one talk show radio host. He's not sports talk anymore. He did sports many years ago. But now he's throwing this curse on Mamdani, and I understand he's trying to get his name out, and he's just, which is ridiculous. And I can't stand that. But here's the other thing that had me. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Yeah, look at this. Ready? Let me share my screen. Here's the thing that really had me pissed. Who the hell are the Minnesota Twins for them to post this? Let me get myself out of here. Hold on. Oh, let me put it down here. You see this? I don't know if you can see this. Things you get in a dozen. Eggs, roses, Met losses. As if the Minnesota Twins have been a cornerstone franchise in Major League Baseball. They've won 4 World Series in this century. Please, there's people out there that even know the Twins won World Series, 87 and 91. I couldn't even tell you who was on the team. So to see that had me like, what? Seriously, we're going to go there now? Twins, and I hate to even bring this up, who whenever they face the Yankees, they can't beat them to save their lives in the postseason. That team. That organization. So for them to come out and try to be all puffing their chest out, I mean, what? And then the Yankee fans are hot stuff. Yankee fans coming out saying how, what was one of the things that I saw? Yeah, they're just a little, and my guy Keith McPherson, I know he's a Met troll. And listen, I've said it before, I love him and everything, but he's got a lot to say about them, and fine. Stephen A. to the Cowboys, that's Keith to the Mets. And the Mets, but to me, the Mets are low-hanging fruit. Like, why even pound on them? They're a joke. Now, listen, the Yankees aren't world beaters either. So let's not even go there with that. Because the Yankee fans, let's face it, they should have lost those 2 games to the Angels last week. They would have lost 9 in a row. by the way. I understand they didn't. I get that. But the Yankees have their own problems. Their bullpen is atrocious. The Yankees have a bully offense. They'll beat up on terrible pitching, but come playoff time, Aaron Judge, and I don't want to hear about the Louis Varland home run that he hit, and he hit 500 in the postseason. How far did that get them? Not as far as they did the year before. And we all know about the World Series. Yeah, every December 31st, the ball drops, but there's also another ball in October in 2024 that dropped as well. And Garrett Cole pointing to first base because he couldn't cover. And Aaron Boone, who, do you want to have in your dugout with your season on the line? I think not. So the Yankee fans need to pipe down. Okay? They could point at the Mets and, the Mets thought they were big brother. Who said that? That was one of the things I got the other day. And they were saying, there were people that were saying that. Those aren't Met fans. What, because they stole Juan Soto from the Yankees? Oh, right, the Mets a big brother? No, nonsense. You know when the Mets a big brother? Dare I even say this? When they win a World Series. And, even better at the expense of the Yankees, which would be, forget it. At that point, I could just, the immortal words of Dan Dierdorf, that Monday night game, Elway versus Montana in 94, I think it was like week 5, week 6. Good Lord, you can take me now. I've seen it all. If that were to only happen, jeez. But with that being said, Yankee fans need to just worry about your team. Your team isn't great. You're 14-9, okay? And your bullpen, please, David Bednar in a big spot? I think not. And all those other guys, Tim Hill, washed. I mean, that bullpen, please. I don't want to hear. And their offense, let's not even go there. The bottom of the order, might as well have me in the lineup. J.C. Escara and Ryan McMahon, who I understand hit a home run the other day, and all the Yankee fans are going crazy. Ryan McMahon hit a home run. The guy was batting under 100. And no, they want to get on the Mets. Worry about your team. And let's face it. Can I just say this too? The American League sucks. You see how bad the teams are in the American League? Terrible. Please, the NL Central has teams that are all the teams are over 500. And I'm not trying to make the NL Central out to be world beaters either. So I'll admit that. But the AL Central, it is pathetic. Or the American League, period. Yankees are 14-9. All right, big whoop. Let's go through the standings. So all these Yankee fans want to print their World Series tickets to go up to Canyon of Zeros down there in Lower Broadway. Yankees have the best record in the American League, 14-9. Seriously? They're not even that good. Again, bully offense. Their rotation is good. I'll give them that. But bully offense, their bullpen scares the hell out of me. And I hope they continue to implode. And look who they beat up over the weekend? The Royals. Wow. And then the Red Sox. Red Sox are atrocious. I mean, think about this. The American League has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. More than half the teams are under 500. Oh, it's only 25 games. So what? Terrible. Look at these records. Yankees 14-9, Tampa 12-11, Guardians 14-11, Twins 12-11. They were 11-7, and they lost 4 in a row, of course, before yesterday. Tigers, all right, they started off 3-8, they're 12-12. And then the AL West, please, the Athletics are in first place. And then, they swept the Mets. I get that. But then again, please, I could put out 9 guys to probably beat the Mets right now. But yeah, so I don't want to hear it. And what, the Yankees going to have another cakewalk to a World Series this year? Look at the National League. Now, the NL East is this. If the Mets streak wasn't as bad, everybody would be killing the Phillies. Phillies are 8-15. And they've lost 7 in a row. So they're lucky that the Mets are in this streak where with their payroll, etc. But think about that. The Philly payroll, I saw it this morning. I think their payroll is $315 million. Combine that with the Mets, $370. That's $685 million, and it's gotten them combined 15 wins. That's not as many wins as the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have 16. They're 16-8. All right, come Memorial Day, will they be 16? Will they be in first place with a good record? Probably not. Braves are 16-8. Here are the teams in the National League. I told you that the NL Central, the Pirates are in last place. You know what their record is? 13-10. The Padres are tied for the Dodgers, or tied with the Dodgers in first place. Braves 16-8, Reds 16-8, Cardinals, Cubs 14-9. And they're doing a number on the Phillies. So people can say, oh, they're beating up on the Mets. All right, big whoop. They're beating the Phillies these last two games. Brewers 13-9. Padres, Dodgers 16-7. Diamondbacks 13-10. Tell me who the better league is right now. Yeah, good. Let the Yankees go to a World Series just like they did 2 years ago, and I destroyed their path to the World Series. Oh, you only play the teams in front of you, whatever. And then what happened? They got embarrassed in the World Series. And I was so happy to stomp on their grave and spit on it at the same time. And yeah, you could talk about the bit players on the team, the Chris Taylors and the Kike Hernandez, when they talked about, oh, we exploited the Yankees' weaknesses, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And I know the Yankee fans got all sour over it. Well, guess what? Your team was whack. Your team stunk. And yeah, got taken to the back of the woodshed. Can't get me started, people. Cannot. I like that, Mark. You there? Of course. Mark, you need glasses? Oh, I'm not going to talk about that. Let me scroll up. Mark knows. He's just trying to be a wise guy. Yeah, I think you're right about that, bio. Fru's not wrong. Stop it here. Stop. Even if I tried to rewrite history, history's already there. The history's already there, and come on. Just didn't was a batter, correct? A batter, and he played first base. Oh, okay. So I guess he just took his 4 at-bats and sat in the dugout. Stop, Mark. Stop. Last year, the Phillies struggled early. I'm pretty sure they kicked our butts when the season was done. Yeah, they beat up on the Mets. Hold on a second. Yeah, late in the year they did. This sounds like a guy who's never watched baseball in his life. That comment. Listen, I'm going to leave that there for the rest of the thing. Mark, you sound foolish there. Give it up. Just say, you know what, Jay? All right. I've trolled. And I guess just him getting a rise out of me, that's what it is. But I'm skipping what you got to say. Mark, that's it. I'm skipping what you got to say. Please, you're out of line. You have no clue. You're lost. Get glasses. Get whatever. I don't know what to tell you. Please. You look foolish now. You really look foolish. Well, I guess the attention is what you want. Well, guess what? You got it. And that's why I'm glad you're here. Because, you help out my algorithm. So, Kirby Puckett. Yeah, he was on that team. 87 and 91. Ken Herbeck. Tom Brunansky. Well, Brunansky was on the 87 team. I don't think he was on 91. You had Ken Herbeck. Chuck Knobloch was on the 91 team. Look that one up. Gene Larkin. Gary Gaetti. Kirby Puckett. I'm trying to think who else on that team. No, I don't know if Julie Davis was on that team. Maybe on that second team. And the pitchers, Jack Morris. Frank Viola was on the first team, not the second one, 91. But yeah, we know who the players are. So yeah, I didn't look it up. Google, no, you see my hands are here. My hand was on the mouse. You didn't hear me typing away. So please. In fact, now of course you could look it up. But Kirby Puckett, the game-winning home run in Game 6 to go to Game 7. Gene Larkin had the sac fly. Game 7, Jack Morris, 10 innings. You know that? Who was the home run that the pitcher that Kirby Puckett hit the home run off of, where Jack Buck said, we'll see you tomorrow night. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. He was a left-handed pitcher. I believe his number was 37. His name was Charlie Leibrandt. Take that, Mark. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah, that's it, Fuku. You already know. No way. I'm not going to post his comments unless it's anything that's worthy. I promise. From here on out for the next 41 minutes, unless... Yeah, I'll say this. Mark put this here because he knows that's for me. I'm right. So anything he's going to say about Hal Morris, whatever, trust me, I'm not putting it up. I can promise you that. Yeah, the Twins trolling. I know. It's just... Shark players. Yeah, that's good at bonding. Yeah. So Mark is saying, yeah, he likes me, but he's giving me stuff. All right, influencer. All right, lifelong Mets fan. I got to say, Cashman is superior to whatever we think our GM is capable and hasn't produced. I'll be fair with that comment. And influencers, I'm glad you stopped by. I appreciate your contributions here. I'm a lifelong Met fan too. I go back to this team 1973. Is Cashman superior? Listen, I could have signed Max Fried. I could have signed Garrett Cole. Jazz Chisholm. Has he been a great Yankee? Did they have to re-up on Trent Grisham this year? Cody Bellinger, they almost missed him. When you look at what they've done with this current team, I'll say the last 2 years. Or I'll even go back to the World Series year. How about that? They're both, look, the Jake Birds and the Paul Blackburns and who's the other kid that they got there that I look at and he always seems to be getting lit up? Brent Hedrick. Tim Hill, I know he's a lefty, but and you can say, well, hey, not every bullpen could be lights out. Yeah, Camilo Doval, that bullpen's not great. And I think about this. He could have got Joan Duran last year. Did he get him? Nope. Listen, and every GM is going to make bad moves, so I'm not going to sit here to say that he has not. Cashman, is he better than David Stearns? 100%. I'll take Brian Cashman right now. But it's not as if Cashman, everything he's touched has turned to gold. Paul Goldschmidt, did you really have to bring him back? I mean, listen, I like Goldschmidt, former MVP, Arizona, St. Louis, etc. He's a relic. Let's call it as we see it. Let's stop. So you're going to bring him back. You're going to bring and Bellinger in big spots doesn't hit. Thank you, Bio. Yeah, the rest of these are Mark's comments, which I'm not posting, so I refuse. All right, let's get to this. 6 teams have multiple first-round picks. Out of those 6 teams, I think the Giants, to have 5 and 10, they could be the big-time winners of the first round. And you know me, I don't like winners, losers. I don't, but they could do some serious damage. They could get the running back, which I wouldn't do. I understand that having an electric running back, like they did with Saquon years ago, will help out Jackson Dart immensely. But then what do you do with Cam Scatterbo? Now, I understand he's coming back from an injury, and he's a guy that he's not going to make people miss. And I'm talking about miss on the field. He's going to try to run people over, which who knows what that can mean long-term for his career. But they could go defense. They could go defense and offense. They could take 2 offensive players, get a receiver there, and a running back. They could take receiver and a rusher, a pass rusher. I mean, they could do the most damage. I know the Jets have the 2nd and 16th pick. Who knows what they get at 16? Maybe they trade down. I don't know. But I know the Jets need a lot, and I don't think they would do that considering Aaron Glenn. I mean, this has to be – he's going to have to win double his games from last year, which it's not saying much, but it's progress. 3-14 to 6-11. Because really, when you think about it, having 6 wins next year is something to build on for the following year. Now, if he goes 3-14 again, or even if he wins 4 games, I think they have to win. They have to double. If I'm the GM, Brandon Moogie, you got to win 6. Can we win 6? Dallas, who knows if they trade up? Because I know they had their eyes on Sonny Styles, the Ohio State linebacker. So And they have, let me see, their picks are, because remember, they got the Packer pick, which is down. See, that's the thing about the Giants. They got 5 and 10. Jets not bad, 2 and 16. The rest of those other teams, their picks are lower. Cleveland, they got from Jacksonville, so I think that's like 24th. Let me pull this up just to give you the exact. All right, so Jets, we know are picking 2. Giants, we know are picking 5. Then they're picking 10. Cleveland is 6. Kansas City, 9. I think they're 9 and 30, if I'm not mistaken. The Dolphins have 2 picks. They're 11. Dallas is 12. Rams, remember, they got that pick from Atlanta, 13. I know we talked about that the other day with Bio. They don't have their other pick. Remember, they traded to Kansas City. That's, I think, 29th. So Kansas City has 9 and 29. Jets 16. Cowboys are picking 20th. So they're picking 12th and 20th. And Miami, and the Browns are picking 6th and 24th. And then Miami's picking 11th and 30th. So, now listen. Obviously, they can move up. I don't know the Dolphins, if there's anybody that they have on their radar that they want to move up. They got their quarterback, as we know, Malik Willis. And to me, when I look at all those teams, I say the Giants because of those high picks. But I think the one team that everybody's going to look at is Kansas City, because Giants, they're not a playoff team. Jets, not a playoff team. Cleveland, not a playoff team. Miami, not a playoff team. Dallas, they can be a playoff team. But Kansas City, that's where everybody's going to look at to see who they're going to pick at 9, which one of the wide receivers are going to be there. Will Cardinal Tate be there? Will the kid from Arizona State be there? Jordan Tyson, I believe. Are those guys going to be around at that pick in order for them to get the weapon that Patrick Mahomes needs when he comes back? So, yeah, what Dallas is going to do, they're going to go defense, you would think. I mean, obviously, they have their eyes on Styles, like I mentioned, but they're going to have to move up. Now, they got the 2 picks. They'll have to give up those 2 picks to whomever's ahead of them. And that's the thing. Maybe if they go as high as 6, trade with Cleveland, the Giants are going to trade with them. They're going to stay right there. And who knows if they're going to take Styles and then maybe wait at 10 to get a wide receiver there, which could happen. Or, Tennessee. And you figure after Mendoza goes, the next 3 picks on a lot of these mock drafts could be all defense. Jets are thinking of taking David Bailey, the edge rusher at Texas Tech. Then you have Orville Reese and Sonny Styles, both know from Ohio State. Then you have the safety, Caleb Downs, another guy from Ohio State too. Yeah, so to me, I think whomever's going to try to get between 5 and 10, because, and it's all going to be predicated on who the Giants pick at 5. Let's say if they pick a wide receiver, I would think Jerry and company, they're going to try to do their best to get ahead, because you would think from 7, 8 down, Commanders, they're all over the map. I've read a couple of their mock drafts. They may go Cardinal Tate. This one says the cornerback at LSU, Mansour Delane. The Saints could go that route too, but they could also go defense. Chiefs, if the wide receiver's there, they're going to pick them. Then the Giants, who knows? I mean, to me, I think once you get to 10 or after 10, not that it's going to cool off. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of transactions that will take place, but I think the draft really is going to start at 4. And the reason why I say 4, because if Dallas decides to give up their 2 picks to get to 4 for Tennessee, and if that's an offer that they can't refuse, then so be it. But I don't see that, because if they're going to pick, let's say, Sonny Styles, which a couple of mock drafts have, we know who the head coach is. Robert Saleh. Defensive guy, wants to have that anchor on his defense, similar to Fred Warner in San Francisco. So who knows? But I think that's where it's going to start, because Mendoza's, just show up at the second pick if the Jets are going to pick Bailey, or if they pick Orville Reese, either one, and if Arizona picks the aforementioned 2 players. Then where Tennessee goes, do they get enticed by a package, whether it is Dallas, maybe even Cleveland, maybe, if Cleveland wants to move up. But I think they would stay pat because they're 2 slots behind Tennessee, where Dallas, obviously, they're 7 slots behind Tennessee. And that's not any rumor that I've heard. That's just me just thinking along the lines, like, if the rumor is going to be that the Giants are going to pick that guy, then so be it. And I have to say this, too, which I can't stand. I always fail to mention this prior to every draft. And we'll go for the first 3 rounds, because if you're going to watch 4 through 7, you're obviously a draft Nick and you're into it. And, I'll follow, but I'm not going to sit in front of a TV for 8 hours on Saturday to watch that. Not. Back in the day, I once did. No, not in my late 50s. But this is what I can't stand about the draft. As much as it's become a spectacle, as much as the draft, their ratings are as good as regular season NBA games. That just goes to show you how powerful the Shield is. But I just can't stand. Doesn't matter. ESPN, NFL Network, whatever. They tell you the pick before the pick comes out. Why watch? Why bother waiting for Goodell to get to the podium so he can announce the pick? Where when you see on the bottom of the ticker, we're hearing that, Adam Schefter's of the world and Ian Rappaport's, we're hearing that the Giants right now at 5, they just traded up and they're going to select so-and-so. Meanwhile, the pick isn't even in. You can still see the draft clock elapsing to get to where the pick is in. It just ruins everything. Listen, I understand that you want to be the ratings. You want to be that first team to announce who's going to be that pick before, and you're in cahoots not cahoots, but you're in competition with the other networks. All right, fine. But to me, that just ruins the whole point of watching the damn draft. Back in the day, in the 90s and 2000s, and I get it, you could say technology, whatever. And I had been live to a few of those, but there were times that you get the headset because you would also get the audio from inside. They wouldn't tell you the pick until the pick is announced. And then you can get the response, oh, wow, hey, oh. Even if it's a reach, even if it's someone that you had no clue that they were going to draft, whatever, they tell you who it is before it's even announced. And it just ruins the whole draft. It ruins the watching experience of the draft. That's number 1. And number 2, I understand it's in Pittsburgh. You're going to have a ton of Steelers fans there, whatever. And I get it that it's in an area where Cleveland is 2 hours away, so you're going to get Browns fans there. You may get Jet fans there, Giant fans there. They'll take the drive out there, 6 hours. I get it. Baltimore, all these areas, all the New England, Buffalo's, I think, off the top of my head, 2.5, 3 hour car ride. So you're going to have a lot of fans converge there. I get that. But I don't want to hear the Arizona Cardinal fan. I don't want to hear the even Seattle Seahawk fan. Seahawks are picking last in the first round. If I see a contingent of Seahawk fans, at least like 15 or 20, it's nonsense. What Seahawk fan from the Pacific Northwest, after winning a Super Bowl, that they get the last pick of the first round, is going to fly to Pittsburgh and be there in Seahawk garb to cheer and root for the pick? See, that's when the NFL doesn't pull the wool over my eyes. Because I get it. They're probably getting fans. They're probably getting people that are in the Pittsburgh area that maybe aren't football fans. And come on, Pittsburgh, everybody, it's a football town, as I said about an hour ago, that you're going to have a scenario where they're going to probably get people off the street. Hey, we'll give you free tickets to the draft. Just could you wear the Seahawk gear? And when the camera's on, you just cheer and whatever. Come on. Who are we fooling? Because in Green Bay last year, and I watched bits and pieces of it, where if certain teams are going to pick, whether it's the Arizonas of the world, whether it was Jacksonville or the other dregs of the sport that were bad, come on. There's no way that they got a legion of fans that are there just for the draft. I'm not buying that. I hate that. To me, it's just so contrived and manufactured. And I mean, those people couldn't tell you, like, I don't want to pick on the Seahawk fan. I don't want to do that. They just won a Super Bowl, whatever. I'll pick another team. Let me see. Well, Jacksonville has a high pick, and they didn't even have their pick this year. So let me see. Let's see. Let me pick a team. All right. How about the Saints? Are they coming a time zone over and flying up? And they're going to be there, going crazy. These people couldn't tell you who Sam Mills, Vaughn Jackson, Oh, excuse me. Ricky Jackson, Vaughn Johnson, and Pat Swillingar. You remember those guys from the 90s? They couldn't tell you who those guys are. I understand they're maybe 25 years old. They wouldn't even tell you Bobby Hebert. They could say, hey, these guys. I won't even go back to Tom Dempsey and Archie Manning. I mean, come on. That's way too far back. Because remember, sports started, and I'm talking 91, but sports started for a lot of these people in 2010. So, oh, wait, let's talk about Deuce McAllister and Jeremy Shockey by way of the Giants. But you want to talk about original Saint players? We could go down the list. The Marquez Colstons and the Devery Hendersons. And please, don't get me started. Comments. You know what? Mark wrote something here. If I get him, oh my God, that would be something. You know what? Mark? Ooh. Now, Mark, I'm only posting your comments if they're worth posting. Hang on. Cody is our new beau. Oh, here we go. Cam is probably done. He wasn't built to last time. That's why I'm saying. Yeah, and that, just like I said, he's a guy that doesn't. He's just going to try to run over you. He's not going to try to go around you. I don't know if he's done just yet. Maybe a little bit too premature. Let's see. Dolphins a hot mess. I agree. I totally agree. Cowboy Stephen Jones tells reporters George Pickens will play under the franchise. Yeah, that's no surprise. Will Pickens even show up? I know. Does he pull a Le'Veon Bell? I wouldn't if I'm him. But that's that. Pickens hasn't earned half of that. No, Pickens has talent. He has ability. But, yeah, he's a front runner. If he's catching 9 balls for 140 and 2 touchdowns and he's making one-handed grabs and he's acrobatic catches, great. But when look at that Lion game last year on Thursday night, that's all you need to know about Pickens. Ball's thrown his way, intercepted, and he gave up on the play. I mean, that's him. And I like him. He played on my team for, what, a year and a half? Or 2 years. Played for the Steelers. Jerry Jones only talks to him. Oh, does he? Giolito signed with Padres $3 million. And the Padres are 16-7. There goes Val with the update. Yep, Pickens there. Here we go. Padres, another disaster organization, in my opinion. Small market, big money that spends all its money to be catalyst to inflation. And now they're going to get sold to that couple. You just got to wonder how they're going to $3.9 billion, I might add. You wonder how how that ownership is going to. Are they going to be aggressive or at least assertive to make this team a World Series team? I don't know if they're from San Diego. It would help if they are, because that's the only team in town. Obviously, the NFL team's long gone. It's in LA. No NBA team. Oh, excuse me, no hockey team. I know they have the minor league team, the Gulls. They've had that team for a million years, but yeah. You know what's funny, influencers? I won't say that there's – now, overall, you're going back to 1969. They have not been great, 2 World Series. But they've had some recent success. They have. Now, doesn't mean they've won. Obviously, that hasn't been the case, but yes, Val, I did see that. What is this? Commerce and undefeated. Brooklyn Dodgers and LA Dodgers design. Okay. The draft was held at Theater Mascot. Yes, I know. That's why. Well, the first time I went to the NFL draft was 95. Then I went in 98. I went in 01. I tried to get in 04. It was like every 3 years I went for some reason. I tried to get in 04. I couldn't. That was the Eli draft. Eli, Ben, and Phillip Rivers. I was outside, but I couldn't get in. Used to be at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. Now it's going back to the 80s. I never went to the Marriott Marquis. In fact, I believe Radio City may have been the first year in 95. And we waited outside to get free tickets. Now it's a joke. I mean, you got to probably pay for them. Ugh, NFL. And then I went in 2010 before I went out to Hawaii that year. And that was the last time I went to the draft. And now it's all over the place, of course, as you know. They were terrible, yeah. Sure were. Craig Ironhead Hayward. That's right. Was also on the Saints too. Very good bio. Yeah, Pat Swilling was a monster. Absolutely. Craig was a boss. Yes, he was. Pitt Panthers, I believe, too. Thank you, Val. Much appreciated. Mark actually has given me a very good idea. And you know what? Let me see if I can find him here. That'd be awesome if he responds. I may have actually reached out to him once upon a time. Let's look. Oh, yeah. So that's what we got then, sports people. I guess I could close this show on this note. Hold on. Yeah, because I got some stuff. Yeah, you know what? I am going to close the live stream on this note and get I got a good news, bad news scenario. Let's see. Baseball. Tampa up 2-0. Houston 2-0. Marlins 4-0. Let me see something. All right. Yeah, because I've actually turned on the TV before. All right. Pence Crosby. Urgency is heightened down 0-2. Shocker. No surprise there. Yeah, Rob Thompson on the hot seat in Philly. Yeah, that goes without saying. Stephen A., the Mets are a national disgrace. Yeah, I can't disagree with him there. But he still calls Nolan McLean. Come on, bro. Seriously? All right, let's get to my good news, bad news. Shall I? Way to go, Val. Met fans get loud, noisy win today. All right. Let me. Oh, is this going to pop up? All right, good. Did that come up yet? All right. So here's my good news, bad news scenario. Which one do you want? Let's get the room involved. You want the good news or the bad? I think you know about the bad news. I did tip my hand last week on it. And therefore, you probably have a good idea. And trust me, it does pain me to know that I will not. All right, nothing yet. All right, so I'm just going to have to say it. All right, so here it is. Here's my good news, bad news. I'll start with the bad news. Bad news is, and this is where it pains me to say it, because every time I miss out on doing one, and I know last month I didn't have a Thursday podcast, March 19th to be exact, because I had some pre-existing plans that day. But tomorrow I will not have a podcast. No podcast tomorrow. No podcast pregame. It's possible if I do a pregame, it's going to be before 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. So, or if not, I may have a mid-afternoon one, like lunchtime, Eastern time, and for sure 5 o'clock p.m. I will do a live stream. So you've been warned. So you're going to have to look early morning, lunchtime, definitely after 5. So no podcast. So whatever happens tonight in sports, maybe I'll do that in the morning, give you a pseudo podcast. Then you have to go back and watch it because it's going to be brief depending on how much time I have. But here's the good news. Is anybody familiar with the channel on YouTube called House of Highlights? Let's see if I pull that up. Ready? Hold on. So House of Highlights, which if you're a sports fan, I'm sure you're well-versed in the show, or in the channel, I should say. And, yeah, this is their logo. Hold on, I'll even share my screen. Stand by. That is right here. Share. So, House of Highlights, obviously, have the games or highlights throughout the night. NBA. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on. As you see, and they have 17.5 million subscribers. And they have, a bunch of different things. Obviously, Dodger Giants, Wild Dunks of the Year, LeBron and Bernie put on a blah, 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 full game highlights. So I'm sure you're familiar with them, right? Now, the reason why I bring up House of Highlights is because, as I stop, and let's get back. Oh, influencer. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Now, are you from New York real quick? Let's go Mets, no doubt. Stearns is overpaid. Yeah, I like that hashtag. Are you from New York? Please, I'd be curious to know. Oh, today? No, today's Earth Day. It is, right? Oh, I should have said that. Thank you. It is Earth Day. Peloton. That's right. Today is Earth Day. Yes. If I post House of Highlights clips, you'll get banned so fast from YouTube. Is that right? I didn't even know that. Oh, Buffalo originally, but you're not from New York anymore. You have to tell me like what state or whatever, or you're East. Okay. Yeah, I'm a huge Met fan. As you could tell over the last God knows how long you've been on with me. And I know you've been on pretty much since the start. So I appreciate that. Influencers. But let's go back to Fuqua. As you said, if you post House of Highlights clips like a band. Is that right? Wow. All right, well, thankfully, I'm not going to post. Well, who knows? I may have to at one point because guess what? Your boy's going to be a part not only one, but two segments tomorrow. I'm actually going to their studios to participate in two of their segments. A trivia segment and a hater versus fan segment. So, yeah, I got the text. It wasn't really a call. It was an email first, and I got the text where they got me in, and they're going to film that tomorrow. I don't know all the particulars as to when those will be aired. I will certainly clue you in. I'll copy and paste it here. I understand. I mean, maybe I'll talk to them. I'll say, hey, can I gotta give me a clip or something that I could repost or what have you, so I got people go and check it out. But yeah, I'll be in the room tomorrow doing that, and I'm looking forward to it. And the trivia one is actually even more fascinating because I'm going to be going up against sports fans, I should say. Well, I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll tell you more about it at 5 o'clock once it's done. But it's a trivia thing, which I'm looking forward to. And the first one is fan versus hater. So if somebody comes out, and I'm sure you've seen, if you've watched House of Highlights, or if you don't, if you're not familiar with it, the scenario regarding that is they'll have a fan, and there's a bunch of people in the room, haters, the quote-unquote haters. And let's say if I'm the fan, I come out and say, Draymond Green is not an NBA Hall of Famer, and then I have to debate that against all the haters that are going to say to me, oh, you're crazy. Draymond is a Hall of Famer, blah, blah, blah. And I have to shut them down and shut them out, whatever. To the point where, I think I may have talked about this last week, where they had a greatest point guard of all time, and get ready for this bio, you're going to laugh, where they said, I'd rather take Steph Curry over Magic Johnson. And please, whomever that I would go up against with that, they would get smacked down so quick that all I would do is come out with one sentence. One sentence. That's it. One sentence that will annihilate taking Steph Curry over Magic Johnson. That's it. Oh, influencers. He said it right here. Bingo. Magic and Bird. Turn the NBA around. 100%. Oh, you're in Texas, influencers. All right, good. Nice. And again, welcome, man. I appreciate you. I do. That one sentence is, yeah, Steph Curry, 3-pointers, greatest shooter, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we've heard it all before. But can Steph Curry dominate? Not play good, not play well, not play great. Could Steph Curry dominate by scoring 8 points a game? Everybody knows what the answer to that is. No. Well, guess what? Magic Johnson can. And for those who say, oh, you're not, what, 8 points? Please? People will probably laugh me out of the room. All right. So at the end of the night, when Magic Johnson has 8 points, 15 rebounds, and 14 assists, you mean to tell me he didn't dominate the game? I'm listening. Still listening. End of story. Game, set, match. Magic could dominate. Magic didn't have to score 25 points a game. Magic didn't have to score 20 points a game. Magic didn't have to score 15 points a game. And when did he normally score? On the fast break. Yeah, occasionally you hit the three. Wasn't a great three-point shooter, as you know. And back then the three didn't mean as much as it does today. But come on. Stop. That's what I would say. And the young folk, they can laugh at me and this, that, the third, blah, blah, blah. That sentence right there, underline. The Warrior fan, the Steph Curry fans, sorry, Val, no, this has nothing to do with you. Again, business, never personal. There's no way. Magic Johnson, all day, every day, twice on Sunday over Steph Curry. Oh, but Jay Reels, it's all about scoring baskets. Well, I get it. And right, you could say, oh, he had Kareem, he had Worthy, he had Byron Scott, he had Michael Cooper. Well, yeah, but how do you think when he started those fast breaks, what did he do? Get rebounds. Oh, yeah, when he was dishing on the break, behind the back, no look, all that. Oh, by the way, he was only 6'9". You're not taking Magic Johnson over Steph Curry? Fuqua, there you go. Walking triple-double. Before triple-doubles were in vogue. Well, you know Bio's answer to that. And that's not even a knock on Steph. But you're going to have the younger folks who think that, oh, but look at all the three-pointers and look at what he's done and blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then, of course, there's people that will come out and say, oh, Magic couldn't shoot. Or Magic could, oh, you know what they come out and say? And I've seen some of these debates. They actually have one of those on the House of Highlights where somebody actually put up a newspaper headline, Tragic Johnson. Yeah, we know that was 84. We know that was Game 7. We know that was even Game 4 for that matter. What happened in 85? Better yet, and I even hate to say this, everybody knows I'm a Celtic fan. What happened in Game 4 in 87? The baby hook. That shot is remembered forever in Celtic Laker lore. The baby hook over Parrish and McHale. McHale had a broken foot, played on a broken foot for half the season. Need I say more? So people come out with that Tragic Johnson, oh, he couldn't score if you threw the ball in the ocean off a boat. Nobody's saying that Curry's a better shooter, scorer, whatever. But if game on the line, a better point guard, and Curry has handle. Point guard is not just about handle. It's about leading your team. Floor general. How many assists does Steph Curry average a year? If he averages 5, that's a lot. Steph Curry is a 2-guard trapped in a point guard's body, which people fail to remember. But when people talk about Allen Iverson, and I'm not comparing Iverson to Steph Curry, but when people talk about Allen Iverson, people don't talk about him as a point guard. Why? Because he shot the ball all the time. He was a 2-guard. I understand he played point, but rarely do you hear Allen Iverson among the great point guards of all time. Why? Because he was more of a 2-guard. And that's what Steph Curry is, despite the fact that him handling the ball all the time. So I want to hear that nonsense. What do we got here? Let me look at your comments, and I got to run because I know somebody's going to knock on the door in a few minutes. My super. Green Bay. Yeah, last season was the draft. Val, very good. Oh, you have Steph Curry's jersey? Oh, I would think that, yeah. Mark says he takes Steph. Magic versus Steph, different than Brady. Okay. Ironically, Magic Johnson organizes and runs the current Dodgers. Yeah, that's effing Magic. Mic drop. Yep, magical. Yeah. Jay, Fuqua, I appreciate you. Thank you. And listen, Steph his greatest shooter ever. Shooter. And we know 3-point, whatever. I get it. Range. Can't argue that, discount it, etc. We're talking about point guard. Who would you want on your team? It's not even close. All right, that'll do it, my good people. I guess I'll sign off on that note. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know how I feel about you guys and gals. Even you too, Mark. You already know. Despite trying to drill Hal Morrison time and time again. So again, no podcast tomorrow. House of Highlights. Be on the lookout for a live stream tomorrow. I'll do a recap of that, talk about that, whatever's happening in sports, recap whatever that's going on tonight. Maybe I'll do one in the morning if I have enough time. I'm going to try to leave here early enough. I'm going to take the subway into the Manhattan tomorrow. Ooh, that's not fun. But you know what? Absolutely. You can even argue John Stockton is better than all-time assist leader and steals. Excellent point, influencers. You're speaking my language. And I actually had thought about that too. I said, wait a minute. I'd actually probably take Stockton. Now, of course, and Stockton's made some big shots in his career. He's not a three-point shooter. He's not. I get that. 97 when they clinched the Western Conference Finals against the Rockets. Yes, influencers, thank you. And thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. But no pod tomorrow, as you know. I'll keep you up to date with House of Highlights. Next podcast will be on Monday. And, of course, next live stream a week from today. Bringing you everything that's happening in sports. You already know. True sports talk, real sports talk, passionate sports talk. None of this clickbait, rage bait garbage that you may get from other channels, other sources, whatever. You know, it's all about bringing authenticity, credibility, being knowledgeable. Of course, that helps too. But, oh, did you? Oh, no. Why'd you do that, Mark? Yes, way to go, Val. But until tomorrow, stay tuned. I'll explain. I'll share my whole experience there with House of Highlights. And obviously, I'll keep you posted as to when it's going to air and so on and so forth. So, whether you do or do not know, this is what I love to do, people. Talking sports since birth and the blood and DNA, as you already know. From the South Bronx, South Beach, South Central, South Pacific, and all points beyond. Peace, love, and God bless. Until tomorrow, everybody, enjoy the rest of your hump day. And, oh, you already know, as long as I'm sitting in front of this camera, microphone, I will deliver nothing but passion, fire, energy, fury, with my thoughts, opinions, critiques, praise, analysis, feelings on anything and everything that happens in the world. The diamond, ice, gridiron, hardwood, golf course, racetrack, tennis court, boxing ring, octagon, you name it. From my lips to your ears, from my heart to your soul, from where I am to wherever you are. The J Reels podcast and or live stream always comes live, correct, directed, in full effect. Stephen Jones, is he related? Yes, he is the son of Jerry Jones. Enjoy your hump day, everybody. Peace and love. Appreciate you all. Thanks for the support. Till next time on The Flip.